Season 1, Episode 1, What the Quiet Work of Money Really Is. Before we talk about money, it helps to talk about pressure. Most people don't experience money as a neutral tool. They experience it as a low-level hum in the background of life, sometimes quiet, sometimes loud, but almost always present, even when things are going well. That's important, because it tells us something right away. The problem usually isn't a lack of intelligence, or discipline, or effort. It's something deeper than that. We live in a world where money is almost always presented loudly. Urgent headlines, confident predictions, endless opinions, a steady implication that if you're not paying attention or not acting, you're falling behind. And when you combine that noise with real responsibilities, rent, families, health, aging, uncertainty, money stops feeling like a tool and starts feeling like a test. A test you're never quite sure you're passing. The quiet work of money begins by rejecting that framing. This podcast is built on a simple observation. Most financial stress doesn't come from bad decisions. It comes from unclear structure. When money doesn't have clear roles, everything competes for attention. Savings feel insufficient. Investing feels risky. Spending feels guilty. And every decision feels heavier than it should. Not because the stakes are always high, but because nothing is clearly contained. So the first work isn't optimization, it's orientation. Orientation means knowing what something is for. What savings is for. What investing is for. What income is for. What risk actually needs protection. Until those questions are answered, every action feels loaded. And most people never slow down long enough to answer them, because the world is constantly urging them to move. This season is about slowing down on purpose. One of the quiet truths about money is that confidence doesn't come from knowing everything. It comes from knowing enough. Enough to recognize when something fits your life. Enough to recognize when it doesn't. Enough to stop reacting to every new idea or headline. That kind of confidence is cumulative. It builds slowly, and it usually comes from subtraction, not addition. Less noise, fewer decisions, clearer roles. Another thing that matters here, this podcast doesn't assume you're at any particular stage of life. Some of you are just starting out. Some of you are midstream, carrying a lot. Some of you are closer to the far shore than the near one. Some of you have time. Some of you have assets. Some of you have neither, and are still expected to make good decisions. Nothing here requires you to start early. Nothing requires you to be wealthy. Nothing requires you to have decades to recover from mistakes. The ideas adapt. What changes with life stage, asset level, and time horizon is not what matters, but how much margin you have. We'll account for that quietly as we go. It's also important to say what this season is not. This is not a checklist. It's not a program. And it's not a promise that things will suddenly feel easy. What it offers instead is a way of thinking that holds under pressure. A way of organizing money so that fewer things demand your attention at the same time. If this works the way it's meant to, you'll feel less urgency. Not because you're ignoring reality, but because reality is finally structured in a way your mind can live with. In the episodes ahead, we'll talk about why money creates anxiety, why enough is such a stabilizing idea, and why finished systems matter more than clever ones. There's nothing you need to do yet. No changes to make, no notes to take. Just listen and notice what simplifies. That's how the quiet work begins. Next time, we'll talk about why money can feel hard even when you're doing fine.